We expected a flurry of moves as soon as NFL free agency officially started, and that's exactly what we saw yesterday in day one of free agency. Now today we're here in day two. A lot of other deals still happening as we speak, but we saw some big ones yesterday. Some expected, some unexpected, and of course the idea that Twitter or X was down for a good portion of the morning. Certainly not great if you're sitting there waiting on what your favorite team is going to do in free agency, but all of that eventually got rectified. But let's go through some of the biggest moves, some of the biggest people changing teams. Obviously, quarterback, always going to be the position that is talked about maybe more than any other. And Sam Darnold coming off an incredible season for the Minnesota Vikings, who seemed maybe interested in having him back, certainly weren't going to franchise tag him. He does, as expected, sign a big deal with the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks and Sam Darnold agreed to a massive $100.5 million contract. Now, all of this comes as Seattle's clearly making big changes. Geno Smith heads to the Raiders. They bring Sam Darnold in, but now he's no longer going to be passing to DK Metcalf, who they traded away. So, a lot of changes going on for the Seattle Seahawks. For the New York Jets, it looks like there's no Justin Fields Pittsburgh Steelers reunion, because Justin Fields is going what may be his last opportunity to be a starter in this league. He's going to give it a try with the New York Jets. I don't know if it's guaranteed that they won't still seek a quarterback at some point in some way in the draft, but Justin Fields, a relatively small deal for a quarterback at least deal, agreed a $40 million contract, 2 years, $40 million, $30 million of that is guaranteed. If you've heard me speak about Justin Fields, you know I don't have a ton of faith in the guy. I didn't when he was with my Chicago Bears. But, you know, the Jets with Aaron Glenn coming there to restart the culture as a coach. He's reunited with Garrett Wilson from his days back with Ohio State. You know, maybe there is some upside there. Obviously, not a lot of money that they guaranteed, and I don't think it's a very long-term thing or should expect to be a long-term thing on only this 2-year deal. We also had a big signing for the New England Patriots. New England Patriots had a lot of money to spend, and they are spending a lot of money. Milton Williams sounded like he had a deal in place with the Panthers. The Patriots came back, offered him more money, and he's going to the Patriots. Spurns the Panthers to sign a $104 million contract with the Patriots. The Eagles, they're losing a lot of those guys on that defensive side of the ball that helped lead them to the Super Bowl. That's what happens. Everybody plays well, everybody gets recognized, and everybody gets more money. You can't afford to keep all these guys. That's how it goes. But the Eagles are going to have a lot of work to do to rebuild this defense with a lot of important pieces leaving in free agency. But yeah, I think it's a 4-year, $104 million deal for Milton Williams. For my Chicago Bears, they continue doing what they have done for the past several weeks. We saw 2 big trades to help that interior offensive line, which was so miserable for the Bears this year. Well, they went out and they spent money, not the most money he was offered, but Drew Dalman actually went to the Bears for less money than he was offered by other teams because he wanted to play in Chicago. He was the top center in free agency. He's been a top 5 center the past 2 years in the NFL. I think this is huge for the Chicago Bears. And they also upgraded on the other side of the ball. Fellow former Atlanta Falcons player, just like Drew Dalman, Grady Jarrett swiftly agrees to a $43 million deal with the Bears after release from the Falcons. Now, one of the big moves we saw that had nothing to do with free agency and was instead a trade was the Commanders making a big move to trade for Laramie Tunsil. Very, very good left tackle for the Houston Texans. And the Houston Texans, they get back a haul of draft picks, but for a team that struggled so badly to protect their quarterback, C.J. Stroud, last season, Laramie Tunsil, you know, had a couple false starts thrown in there. Maybe not his best season, but a guy who's proven at that position, for them to let him go for those picks was a little shocking to some people. Blockbuster trade. The Texans are finalizing a trade of 5-time Pro Bowl left tackle Laramie Tunsil to the Commanders. Huge addition for Washington as Houston gets back a draft haul pick. And what the Texans are getting out of that, a 3rd and 7th round pick this year, a 2nd and 4th round pick next year. Washington also gets back a 4th round pick, so effectively swap 4th round picks there, and a 2nd, 3rd, and 7th round for Laramie Tunsil. Now, obviously, a lot of other big moves are happening. I think just this morning, we saw Daniel Jones sign with the Indianapolis Colts. Looked like the Vikings may have been interested in keeping him. I think he's probably going to have a better chance of being the starting quarterback in Indianapolis. We know how things go there with the QB situation in Indianapolis with Anthony Richardson. He'll probably often be injured and probably often won't play well. So maybe a chance for Daniel Jones to compete for a starting position at some point during the season. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson still on the table. A lot of connections between Aaron Rodgers potentially going to Pittsburgh. We'll see if that happens. A lot of other moves yesterday. I wanted to go through some of these. Ronnie Stanley stays with the Baltimore Ravens. Mostly want to focus on guys who change teams. That's always the big thing, who changes teams. Josh Sweat, one of the most important players for that Philadelphia Eagles defense last year. Josh Sweat agrees to a big deal with the Arizona Cardinals. Javon Holland goes from the Dolphins to the Giants. Byron Murphy with an extension. DJ Reed, this could be one of the biggest and most I guess efficient signings we saw this year for the Detroit Lions. DJ Reed, very, very good defensive back. And they get him on what seems like a bargain compared to some other numbers that we've seen this free agency period. 3 years, $48 million for DJ Reed. We knew about Devontae Adams heading out to the Los Angeles Rams. Chris Godwin, after the rough injury we saw take place on national television this year, he's staying with the Buccaneers on kind of a high-value deal for them. He turned down about $20 million more somewhere else to stay with the Buccaneers. 3 years, $66 million deal. So Chris Godwin is staying there. In this Charvarius Ward deal, it's one of the things I was talking about with the DB deals. He gets a 3-year, $60 million deal to go to the Colts, where I feel like the Lions got a little bit better value bringing DJ Reed there for less money. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other stuff. Obviously, a flurry of deals. I couldn't possibly go over every one in the short video I'm trying to make. But, Sam Darnold goes to the Seahawks. We expected that. Justin Fields to the Jets. We didn't quite know if that was going to happen or not. Milton Williams, big-time deal. And my Chicago Bears continue spending money and doing the things they need to do in the trenches to improve this team. What do you guys think? I know I missed a million free agency updates that happened over the last 24 to 48 hours. What do you think of NFL free agency? Are there any I missed that you think were a good deal for whatever given team? Let me know. And where do you think Aaron Rodgers is eventually going to end up? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.